Welcome everyone to Gunning to Old Trafford Fantasy Premier League Edition. You're with your host Mohammed Faried and later on we'll be joined by our other host Tadi. Game week 23 on this week up for discussion. Game week 22 didn't go that great, as you can see. 45 points. I will admit I didn't make any changes last week. It was a bit of a hectic week, but I think if I didn't have Rashford in the team last week, it would have been an absolute disaster. Went with captaining Haaland again, and it just doesn't seem to be working out. So for game week 23, I think we'll go through it together live, which is probably the best thing for us to do, so you can have an understanding of what my plans are and what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. Just announced is game week 25 is going to be a double game week. We'll obviously touch on that when we get closer to the time, but you want to start looking at Liverpool resources as well as Everton resources. Liverpool resources are a little bit of a touch and go at the moment because they are not playing that well. Sad to say. Um, Salah still seems to be the number one choice when it comes to Liverpool. His stats compared to where he was at this time last year, not that far off. It's slightly lower. So some people still think he's a good asset to have. I think I'm going to be dropping Salah, and I'm probably going to be doing it now with you guys and looking for someone else to bring into the team. And then for game week 23, let's just go into it quickly, right, guys? Look, you can see my overall points 1,324. My overall rank has dropped quite a bit. In the Gunning to Old Trafford League, I have now dropped to 16th, which is quite bad. So I've got a lot of catching up to do. And usually at this stage of Fantasy Premier League is where every week starts to matter. So you need to start planning your transfers and start planning things in advance, because if you miss out on one or two game weeks, then your fantasy Premier League is basically done. So let's get into it quickly for this week. Um, what I'm going with this week is I'm obviously going to keep Kepa in goal. I'm probably going to do Ben White and Saliba to start. My my thoughts are around going from Martinelli to Odegaard, right? And from Salah to maybe Kane. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we're going to try and figure it out now. So you can see exactly what I've got planned. Shaw's probably going to start for me here. I think he had a decent enough game. I'm probably going to, I don't know. The thing with this is I either bench Trippier, who's got an easier game against Bournemouth, and he's probably going to score a lot more points there. Shaw might be maybe first choice sub. Wilson probably second. I'm thinking of maybe dropping Mitrovic for the Forest game. His last couple of game weeks haven't been that great. 2 points, 2 points. Wilson got me 7 last week, so I think I'm going to probably go with Wilson there. Choices here, I'm probably going to stick with this. If I go Salah to Kane, I'm probably going to drop Wilson or Mitrovic and then bring Kane on and maybe go a 4-3-3 or even maybe 3-4-3. Then I'm going to start obviously White, RK, Saliba because they have a double game week and it's stupid not to. For Salah, I might go with a cheaper option just so that I keep a little bit of my coins open. But let's have a look at it, right? Martinelli to Odegaard. Let's first check that out. Martinelli, but it's going to cost me a little bit more. Let's first try Salah. Actually, I won't be able to make both. So either I keep Martinelli this week and get rid of Salah and Mitrovic. Okay, let's see who we've got in midfield. Midfielders. De Bruyne is definitely a no-go. Not because I don't think he's going to score points, but he's just way too expensive, and then I won't be able to get to Kane. The play for me is, let's see this. I need to drop one. I think I need to drop one Saliba 93, Ben White 86, but I still like Ben White more. Mm. I have to get rid of Salah this week. So maybe the plan is keep Martinelli, don't go Odegaard. So maybe go Salah to. Jeez, who do you go to? That's the problem. So you can go Almiron, who's dirt cheap, and his price is dropping constantly because he's last couple of game weeks hasn't been that great. His last big haul was in game week 17 and game week 16, 15. If you look at it here, from game week 12 to game week 17, Almiron had great scores, and then he's just been getting twos and threes. So not really the best idea, I think, to go with him. The option is maybe I could go Bruno. Bruno's 9.9. I've got 2.8 in the bank. Let's try this. Let's try Bruno. Let's go Mitrovic to gain. And I still got 0.8. That could be the play. If I don't go Mitrovic, if I don't go Bruno, who else do I go in midfield? Pascal Grosch, no, too cheap. So look, the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to go too cheap because then the cheaper players tend to have a couple of bad game weeks and then you lose money on them. You Madison just not playing that great at the moment, so he's a little bit too risky. The option is either Foden or Bruno, and with Foden being potentially injured, that's not a good choice. Mason Mount, it's either Mason Mount or Fernandez, and I think Fernandez is the play. That gives me two free transfers done. Kane in, Fernandez in, Salah out for this game week. The plan might be to bring Salah back in for game week 25 because they have a double game week and they potentially have a double game week again in 28. Just depends. I could be wrong there. I think the double game week for in 28 is Arsenal, and I think Arsenal also has a double game week in 25 as well. So, guys, the plan is to have as many Arsenal and Man City assets as you can have. I've got three of each, so I'm pretty much sorted there. I might play around with those assets and decide of maybe dropping Ake or Mahrez. Haaland is risky to drop, but I think Haaland's sort of settled down now. He is not going to be that great going forward. Um, he's going to probably score you some points, but it looks like Haaland's struggling at the moment to get you any decent points. So captaining him might not always be the greatest idea. Rashford is on fire at the moment, so that's probably who you want to keep from United from a scoring point of view. And Arsenal, I think I've got Martinelli to Odegaard, which is my plan for next week. Maybe Saliba gets dropped, and then I can maybe bring in someone else from Arsenal, maybe a Saka, or bring Martinelli, keep Martinelli, and then go a Mahrez to Odegaard, or um, Fernandez to Odegaard, somewhere along those lines. Just depends. We'll get to that probably next week. For now, I'm going to bank my transfers. Let's go. Team is then going to look like this. I'm probably going to go. Haaland's got a double game week. City's got a double game week. Arsenal's got a double game week. Yeah. Do I want to go Bournemouth? Bournemouth. And then drop Bruno and bring on Wilson. Let's see Bruno scores for the last few game weeks. 2, 10, 5, 10. I think I keep it the way it is. Let's do Shaw in as second substitute. Um, I'm probably gonna use my triple captain next week, guys. In game week 25, or it's Brentford and Man City, Aston Villa, Arsenal. No, definitely not using it here. I'm gonna keep my triple captain. I think Brentford, Man City is not the greatest fixtures, and neither is Aston Villa, Arsenal. So I keep my fixtures like this. I'm gonna captain Rashford this week, and vice captain will be Haaland, and that gives me my team for this week. I've got my three Arsenal assets, so I'm pretty much sorted there. Three Man City assets. I think the plan is also to keep three United assets, which I have already, and then maybe to try and double up on uh, maybe another Newcastle asset if they, depending on this game week. Kepa's pretty much going to stick in there. I could change that if I can't change to Edison because then I lose a Man City asset here. And I'm not going to go Ramsdale because I've pretty much got three Arsenal assets here as well. De Gea, don't know. Don't think he scores that great points. So I think Kepa stays where he is. And that's basically where I'm at for this week, guys. Um, Let me know how your guys' game week is going, what points you guys score this week. Guys, keep it interactive in all the socials on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Send us screenshots. Let us feature your teams and points, especially when you score well. We'd like to keep this interactive. And then it's game week 24 next week, so I'll catch you guys again next week. Over to Tadi.
Morning, guys. Morning. And thanks, Farid, for the handover. Welcome to Game Week 23. It's a big weekend for Arsenal and Man United. Like EP and Shady said, they're both agreeing that, both teams have a lot to prove. Do check out the preview show too. It dropped earlier this morning on the channel. Let's have a quick recap and way forward. Game week 22 scored 77 points off of an average of 48. Pretty happy with that. I think in all my invitational and general leagues, I went up. Pretty much. So happy with that. Would have wanted more from certain sections of the field, but we take what we get. Let's start with the goals where we had Kepa. Another incredible haul of 10 points. I think he scored 29 points in the last three game weeks. Yeah, pretty much. And, he's looking to be in fantastic form. I'll keep him in this game week as well. He plays West Ham United away. I think Danny Ings leads the West Ham attack with just 6 goals this season. Currently, they should be 17th. Yeah, the 17th, four draws or losses out of the last 5 games doesn't really inspire confidence that the attack is lethal. I don't know if you get bonus points or save points, but a clean sheet possibility is strong there. So that's why I've more confidence in him than Ward. Ward scored 2 points. He plays Spurs this week, I believe. Yeah, he's playing Spurs at home, followed by Man U and Arsenal. That's dicey. Um, and I would be foolish to have him in the goals over Kepa. So nothing much is changing there. Defense, we didn't do incredibly well. The Newcastle boys were pretty quiet, as well as Gabriel. I think they had a, yeah. What can I say that no one else has said about the Everton loss? It took some wind out of our sail a little bit, but I hope the boys will bounce back. Shaw had a double. He scored 5 goals. He brought in 6 points, but 5 of those came out of one game. Um, yeah, and they're playing Leeds again, the same team that drew 2-2 all last week. I believe this is the home game. No, it's the away game. Soldier C, he stays on the team though. I'll switch over to the current team view shortly. Uh, De Bruyne, he deserves his own segment here, right? Um, Pep Guardiola makes managing a City player extremely difficult. I get it. He wants to rotate legs, but KDB played 31 out of 100, made 80 minutes in the last game week, if I'm correct. Yeah. Um, this guy once guaranteed players a lot of minutes, and we know his quality. We do know it. I seriously considered trading him for Mahrez, um, but the city to city transfer just wasn't making enough sense for me. Sorry, wrong view. I want to show you guys. Yeah, like I said, the city to city transfer just wasn't making enough sense for me to commit to the move. Um, Even then, it's still another City player, and who knows what Pep could suddenly do. Mahrez has been in pretty good form, pretty strong form. 17 points off of the Tottenham game, six when they played Wolves at home, and then one against Spurs again in the last game week. And I know a lot of managers brought him in this game week. His ownership has gone up to 12%, I believe. So I I just cannot commit to that. It's not something I was going to have a lot of confidence in. But back to last game week, Rashford did it again. I gave him the captain's armband. He gave me 40 points. Uh, it was double game week. He doesn't disappoint, and his form continues to be strong. Odegaard and Almiron didn't do much. Almiron only came in because Martial played 0 minutes in the in the two games uh, Man United had. This is the man who had a double game week that I trusted. This is the man Man United fans have been very frustrated with because of his the lack of minutes he's playing, the lack of consistency. He's been on the bench with injuries for quite some time now. Was actually seriously considered for a transfer during the transfer window. Um, Zero zilch. I've since removed him from the squad and replaced him with um, Mitoma. You guys probably have seen it already. Let's go back here. You know, I believe the last time I checked, just over 300,000 managers had brought him in. Um, I did talk about him in the last few game weeks, in all fairness, in the last couple of videos. I've really been impressed by his form. And look, it makes sense. 42 points in the last, is that right? Yeah, 42 points in the last 5 game weeks, a form of 9. Um, 9 up and coming, very, very juicy game, despite this blank in game week 25. I'll take him any day. He made sense cost wise. I have a lot of confidence in him. Like March, he's also a longer term play. We'll see how that goes. P.S. I'm not going to give a lot of alternatives this game week, but if you guys are looking to make some moves, I would seriously consider almost any Brighton player right now, or at least one who plays regular minutes. You really can't be sleeping on those guys. Um, but yeah, we keep it moving. I think Brighton they've also been in pretty solid form. They're currently sixth, won or drawn 4 out of the last 5 games. You can't ignore them. Strikers, we had Haaland and Kane. Let's open Haaland's profile. He didn't touch the ball much, right? But in all fairness, he doesn't tend to touch the ball a lot. He doesn't need much to score. But Spurs absolutely nuked him. He wasn't looking very confident, made no meaningful chances, didn't look very involved. He didn't really inspire a lot of confidence in that Spurs game. He plays Villa and Arsenal this week. Both game, or the Villa game is home. The Arsenal game's away. I'm nervous. I won't even lie. Um, Still considering him for the captaincy armband. We'll chat about that shortly. Kane scored his 200th Premier League goal, brought two extra bonus points. I can't even say much. It's just a solid thumbs up, a solid effort. And he obviously stays again this game week. Now, looking at the two moves I made, as you guys might have seen, I brought in Mitoma. We already spoke about him, and Nketiah. Right, so I had to bring in either a third City player or Arsenal player. Um, something I actually spent a couple of days on really thinking about. But I didn't have a lot of cash, and that obviously limits your choices sometimes. And the balance between the Arsenal and City squads for this game week, by all of the games they're actually playing, I have a little more confidence in the Arsenal team. Yeah, they lost to Everton last week, but I really think the boys will bounce back. Maybe it was just a bit of a wake up call for them. That's what my hope is. And particularly with Nketiah, I think he's done 17 points in the last three. Let's quickly go. Yeah, 17 in the last three. Lots of game involvement. Gave me confidence. He's the right player for me or my team right now. I plays all of the minutes, all of the minutes. So no stress or drama there. Huge scoring potential. And at 6.8 million, having removed Marshall, that was pretty much what I could afford. He ticked enough of the right boxes for me to bring him in. They've got Brentford and City this week. Massive games, both at home though. So we'll just see. I was actually really struggling between who to captain between Ketia, Odegaard, and Haaland. Though Haaland and Odegaard came out on top. I know right now that's the captain and vice, but it's not confirmed yet. It's 9:30. I'm still thinking about it. I'll give it another 10, 15 minutes. But again, Odegaard's form's dropped off a little bit in the last couple of game weeks. Yeah, five and then two. But he's also so integral to the squad that if there are goals this game week, chances are, his hand will be in the mix somewhere. It's almost a guarantee. Haaland, at the same time, yeah, we talked about it. He was really neutered by some teams. It's looking like they're trying to figure him out, or have figured him out. But it's not. I'm not yet convinced that you can discount him just yet. I have a feeling that this game week he'll score a couple, and I certainly think he's going to surprise during the Arsenal game. Um, Not what I want, but it is the reality of where we're at right now. But again, guys, not much to say this game week. Like, subscribe, comment, give your own. Please suggest some captaincy choices. Maybe I'll look at them before. And good luck to all the managers. Thanks, guys.